Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. We are here for our Administrative Matters meeting with the Board of County Commissioners for Larimer County. I call this meeting to order, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining me for the pledge. I am Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shai-McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and I thank you for joining us today. I am joined at the dais by my colleagues, Larimer County Commissioner Kristen Stevens and Larimer County Commissioner John Kafalis. Good morning, colleagues. Also assisting us in the meeting today and joining us is Tessa Beatty from our clerk's office. Tessa, always appreciate your work. We have our County Manager, Lorenda Volker. We have Tom Clayton from our Public Information Office and our amazing Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's Office, who does all kinds of wonderful things to support the County Commissioners. Good morning to all. And so now I will move on to public comment. We don't have anyone signed up for public comment. I'll just open that up to anyone in the room. If anyone would like to make public comment, you would have 3 minutes to do so. Okay, Sarah, do we have anyone who's online that would wishes to make public comment, or we received any emails?
No, Commissioner.
Great, thank you, Sarah. So I will now close public comment. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. And colleagues, I just wanted to ask, do you have any other changes, additions, or questions about the minutes this morning? Commissioner Stevens, no? Okay, so I will now ask Commissioner Kafalis to make that motion, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I move to approve the minutes for the week of November 20th, 2023.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that motion. Any further deliberation? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on now. Sarah, would you mind reading our upcoming schedule? Thank you.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for December 11th through the 16th, 2023. On Monday, December 11th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session regarding wildfire inspection fees in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the Virtual Forest Health Council Leveraging Resources Committee meeting. From 1:30 to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., the Commissioners will attend the Larimer County Fair and Rodeo Appreciation Dinner at the Home Run Bar and Grill at Blue Arena at 5290 Arena Circle in Loveland. On Tuesday, December 12th, from 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will participate in the virtual City of Fort Collins / Larimer County / Poudre School District Liaison meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual South Platte Basin Roundtable meeting. On Wednesday, December 13th, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Environment, Energy, and Land Use meeting. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Northern Colorado Regional Economic Development Initiative annual meeting at High County Beverage at 4200 Ronald Reagan Boulevard in Johnstown. From 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Veterans Together meeting in the Jewel Lake Conference Room on the fourth floor. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners will attend the Commissioners / Planning Commission holiday party at Patos Tacos at 270 North Cleveland Avenue in Loveland. On Thursday, December 14th, from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors meeting at the Innisphere Ventures at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Stevens will attend the Solid Waste Policy Advisory Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be in Lake Estes on the third floor or virtually via Zoom. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Office on Aging Volunteer Appreciation and Holiday Lunch at the Moot House at 2626 South College Avenue in Fort Collins. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Estes Valley Planning Advisory Committee special meeting. It's a hybrid meeting In person, it will be in the Estes Valley Community Center at 660 Community Drive in Estes Park or virtually via Zoom. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be the 2023 revised and 2024 budget adoption hearing in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it's in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the second floor or virtually via Zoom. From 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioners will attend the Behavioral Health Services 5-year celebration at the Embassy Suites at 4750 Clydesdale Parkway in Loveland. On Friday, December 15th, from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will participate in the virtual Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Stevens will participate in the virtual Colorado Middle Income Housing Authority Board meeting. On Saturday, December 16th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Cavalas will attend the 2023 Larimer County Master Gardener Recognition Banquet at the Front Range Community College in the Longs Peak Student Center at 4616 South Shield Street in Fort Collins.
Okay, colleagues, do you have any additions or changes? Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, so on Monday, I'm going to have to miss the CPERS meeting, and I have been invited to a discussion with the Federal Railroad Administrator at with the governor's office. So that's from 2:45 to 4 p.m., and then, of course, there'll be travel time with that. So I'm working on Front Range Passenger Rail, which is exciting. Thank you.
Commissioner Cavalas, do you have any changes or additions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would, two considerations. One is that I think it's appropriate to include on Monday, December 11th, there is the Old Town menorah lighting at 5:30, and it's going to be difficult to do that and be at the ranch, but I'm hoping I can at least stop by and say hello to folks. That's at 5:30. And then the other thing, I don't see that it lists the Tuesday, December 12th, the ESAB meeting, Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting. My intentions are to attend the first hour, and then whatever it is we have at 7. I think it's some kind of holiday thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all got, I just saw that we all got the invitation to the menorah lighting, so I imagine that all of us might be at least trying to pop by for a minute.
Yeah, I'll probably try to pop by it for a minute, but I also have the something in Loveland real quick. I was going to stop by on the way to the luncheon because it's they're going to talk about the youth shelter, and I wanted to be there. So I have little concerns about the budget meeting on Thursday because I've got opiate abatement, but I'm vice chair, so I'm not sure how that's going to work because we have a big important presentation that day. So I'm curious about that meeting. So
We can talk more about that schedule.
okay, thanks. And then on the 14th, I wanted to make sure, I think they said the special meeting for the EPAC is virtual, correct? So because that's going to be really almost impossible to get up and back forward to that, so.
Yeah, it's a hybrid meeting.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm going to, I don't know if my colleagues were, but there's a housing forum on the 14th at 7 p.m. that I'm going to try to attend at Horse and Dragon. It's at 7 p.m. So I don't know if my colleagues were going to that, but I figure I should put that on my calendar since we're going to talk about housing. And then on I'm going to the DNR holiday celebration. That's still on hold, but I think I'm going to that. I don't know if you listed that. Did I miss you bringing that up? At 8. I'm not sure.
Which day?
The 13th. I'm not sure, but I have a hold on my calendar for that. So I'm not sure if that's still happening, but I plan to go in the morning.
I'll take a look and confirm.
Okay, and I don't know if my colleagues are going to, but I was planning to be there, so I have it from, it's in my calendar. I just want to make sure because I figure we might all be there, but if you could look into that, that would be great. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's move on to the consent agenda. We're just trying to keep you on your toes, Sarah, by throwing these curveballs. I appreciate the work you do. Thank you. We can play mess as we're like, chase the cats down. But thank you. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. I just want to share with the public that the consent agenda consists of items of no perceived controversy and routine administrative actions such as abatements, agreements, deeds, final plats, liquor license, resolutions, other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners. Staff recommends approval of the consent agenda, and a commissioner may request that item be pulled off the agenda and considered separately. Items from the agenda will be considered after the board takes action on the remainder of the consent agenda. And for members of the public, I'm going to read through at a high level the items on the consent agenda, but if you want to dive in to more details and dates and times and lots of financial monetary numbers, that's all on our website, on the Board of County Commissioners website. And meetings, agendas, details, our emails, our schedules, videos, all kinds of things are all there, open and transparent for everyone in the public who'd like to drill down and have more information. So I will now read about the consent agenda. We have 6 petitions for abatement or refund of taxes for several different accounts. I won't read through all of those. You can read through all of those, like I said, on the website. We have 3 agreements today. One is a amendment number 5 to a fiber use license agreement, and this is between Larimer County and Platte River Power Authority. This is great news, and this is for the year of 2024. We have a second agreement, a common interest and confidentiality agreement regarding the sharing of information for the joint representation before the Colorado Energy and Carbon Management Commission, and this is between Larimer County and City of Fort Collins. We have a fiber lease agreement, Amendment 3, 2024, between Larimer County and Loveland Pulse, which is fantastic as we continue our partnership with our municipality, City of Fort Collins and City of Loveland, and the Larimer County and many others, including Poudre Valley REA, as our NOCO Fiber Alliance and the work that we're doing to connect our county. So that's really exciting. We have several appointments. We've been busy interviewing for our boards and commissions. We have a recommended appointment to the Weld County, Larimer County Revolving Loan Fund Committee. Congratulations, Sarah. Where'd you go? Sarah's appointed. We have recommendation reappointment to the Bonnell Wells Public Improvement District. Congratulations, Mr. Davison. Recommended reappointments to the Fair Board. Congratulations, Mr. Foley, Ms. Miller, and Mr. Young. We have recommended reappointments to the Charles Heights PID. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Bosch. We have appointments to the Behavioral Health Technical Advisory Committee. Congratulations, Ms. Doherty. We have a recommended reappointment to the Behavioral Health Technical Advisory Committee. Congratulations, Dr. Jubar. We have recommended appointment to the Red Feather Lakes GID. Congratulations, Mr. Finlayson. We have recommended appointments to the Behavioral Health Policy Council. Congratulations, Mr. Forwood and Ms. Black. And we have a recommended reappointments to the Behavioral Health Consumer Advisory Committee. Congratulations to Ms. Crumweedy and Mr. Pietrafecesso. We have recommended appointments to the Behavioral Health Consumer Advisory Committee. Congratulations to Ms. Sullivan and Mr. Clerk. We also have recommended appointment to Estes Park Public Improvement District. Estes Park Estates Public Improvement District. Congratulations to Mr. Turner. And we have recommended appointment to the Planning Commission. Congratulations, Ms. Chalet. And recommended appointment to the Board of Adjustment. Congrats, Ms. Chalet. We have letters of support, which is a capital fund grant letters of support. Larimer County letters of support for the capital fund project broadband grant applications with the state. We're very excited about that. And we have liquor licenses. One is liquor license renewal from Ptarmigan Acquisition LLC, or otherwise known as the Ptarmigan Country Club. And we have a liquor license change of manager, the Rock Inn Ltd. also known as the Rock Inn in Estes Park. And we have miscellaneous, we have 9 miscellaneous as stipulation as to tax year 2023. I'm not going to read through all of those. As I said, you can go on the website. There's 9 of those. But then we have also an order and assessment for a code compliance case number 23-CCPM 0008. Submitted by our Code Compliance Department. And we have a statement of authority submitted by our Engineering Department, which authorizes our Land Stewardship Manager to execute closing documents on the sale of the Weed District shop on Mulberry. We have resolutions, resolution and finding approving the triplet accessory living area appeal. We have the resolution approving the sale of 2649 Mulberry Street, Unit A6 in Fort Collins, which is also our former Weed District shop. And we have finally the Great Outdoors Colorado, an acquisition grant for the Heaven's Door acquisition project. And this is between Great Outdoors Colorado and Larimer County. Super excited about that. So that is our consent agenda, colleagues. Any items you wish to pull from the agenda? Okay, I will ask Commissioner Stevens to please make a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda for December 5th, 2023.
Okay, well, no further deliberation. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great, 3-0. Okay, we will now move on to our special guest, and I'm very excited to invite our Larimer County Clerk and Recorder, Tina Harris, to the podium to share some important information about our recent elections. Welcome, Clerk Harris. We appreciate you being here today. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Thank you for having me today. Before I get started, I would like to just really thank the elections team and the citizen judges. The work that they have done is outstanding. They are really the foundation of democracy, and we could not do it without them. And so many people will never know that. They are your neighbors that conduct the election. And so I'm so proud to have them join our, be part of that election process. So one of the things, there's several things I want to update you on. One is the ballots returned on election day was a lot greater than we had anticipated. Earlier this year, we presented information to you, you as the board, to advocate for a larger counting facility, and we collaborated with you. And so I want to thank you for that support, because we're definitely going to need it. We actually saw 39% of the ballots returned on election day. And so 47,000, a little over 47,000 were returned by mail, and 1,600 were returned through a VSPC, so in person, voted in person. We did have 16 property owner ballots and 1 provisional. The total number of ballots that were returned for the election was 126,030. Majority of that, 123,000, almost 124,000 were by mail, and a little over 2,000 were in person. And so the voter turnout this year was almost 48%. So that is a lot higher than I had anticipated. I think a lot of that has to do with the Proposition HH that was on the ballot, and also we coordinated with the city of Fort Collins for this election. So that is the high level of the election. I will say, as of yesterday, Larimer County certified their election last week through the canvass board by a majority. And then yesterday there was a press release from the Secretary of State on December 4th that the election, the 2023 coordinated election, has been certified across the state. And so that is really what I have for you. Like, are there any questions?
Thank you, Tina. We appreciate all those numbers, and what a great news to hear about 48% voter turnout. That's tremendous.
Yes.
Exciting work. And thank you to, I echo your comments. Thank you to all the volunteers and election judges and your staff for a job well done, and really excited to hear about these numbers. I will see if my colleagues would like to make some other comments, and I'll wrap some up. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the good news and for running such a great election and, coordinating all the volunteers. Can you just talk a little bit about how many vote centers we have and what it looks like kind of in an off year, even though it was high turnout, it'll be higher, I'm sure, next year. And so kind of what is that, what did it look like for like vote centers, and what does that look like in the coming year, and how do you use the data that you got this time around to inform what happens in the next election?
Sure. For the coordinated election, we were only required by statute to have 3 VSPCs open. On campus, CSU, Front Range, and then the one here. So it has to mimic the number of vehicle licensing offices that we have open. But we go above and beyond that only because we realize that, Larimer County is not very compact. So we also had a VSPC in Estes Park. We had one at Drake Center and Loveland Police and Courts, to try to spread those services out across the county. What determines how long those VSPCs will be open really is going to be on voter turnout, how many voters go to those VSPCs. Also, the other thing that we look at is, is there mountain passes that people have to, cross in order to vote. So we want to make sure that we have a VSPC, for instance, up in Estes Park. We don't have VSPCs in all of the municipalities across Larimer County because most people, as you can see by these numbers, return their ballots by mail or drop boxes. So drop boxes, we are now in the process of increasing the number of drop boxes because we find that there are some areas that we could put more. Police department here in Fort Collins, that is a very happening drop box. And it is, the traffic on election night was intense. We actually reached out to the police department and they helped us direct some traffic because I felt like it was becoming a little bit of a hazard. The other thing we take a look at is how much, so when we're looking at, not all of our VSPCs are free. We do have to pay for those. And so we look at how much it costs per voter to staff those because it takes 13 plus judges, bipartisan, 12 to 13 bipartisan judges to staff a facility. And one of the issues that we have run into is that we have if the VSPC is not busy, we tend to see more judges drop out because there's not that much work. It doesn't feel like, but we still need those judges there. We still need to have that many judges. So,
and thank you. That's helpful. And so there will be one at CSU and at Estes Park since there was one in the off year, I assume there's going to be one in those locations.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we did look at the data this year. We compared it from 2021 in Estes Park specifically, 2021 to this year. And we have determined that we've decided that we will open it. It'll be a 4-day site moving forward instead of just a 2-day site. So what that does is it allows voters to visit that site on Friday before election, the Saturday, Monday before election, and then election day.
Because a person could vote day of, isn't that correct? A person,
Yes.
I mean, they could register and vote the day
Absolutely.
of the election. So that's one thing that's helpful about the voter service centers, and especially on campus where students may have not decided whether they're voting at their home location or the location here in town.
Yep, it's a one-stop shop.
Okay. And then I assume you always need the election judges and staff like that. Do you always need folks to volunteer for those kind of positions?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the general election in November, we're going to need anywhere from 800 to 900 judges. So that portal is already open. We're already taking applications. The election that we just completed in November, or just this past, I can't even remember what month it is. Sorry, I'm still recovering. In November is the first of 4 back-to-back. So we will have an election in March, which is the presidential primary. We'll also have an election in June 25th, which is our state primary, and then November 5th.
And they can, if folks want to be a judge, they could apply on the website?
On the website at vote.larimer.gov.
Perfect. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks again for running a great election, and wish you luck in the coming year, because it with a lot. What did you say? 3 or 4 elections? 3.
It'll be 3.
3. So that's a monumental task. So we wish you all the best in that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Tina. Thanks to you and your team, your election division team, as well as all of the election judges that helped make this election very successful. I have a couple of questions, if I may. One is I'm wondering what things do you folks do to appreciate and recognize the election judges? Because I think nationally there's a lot of interesting dynamics, as far as people who want to serve in that capacity, and certainly clerks and recorders. So I'm wondering what you all do to acknowledge them, and is there something appropriate that maybe a message from the commissioners? I don't think that's crossing the line, but something that we could convey, express our appreciation. I don't know how that would work. Could you comment on that, please?
Absolutely.
Oh.
First and foremost is food. We make sure they're well fed. Also, we do, this year, we have orientation. So that's where I get to have, conversation with them. We also hosted a ice cream social for them. So that allows them to come in and ask whatever questions they may have. They get to know each other more on a personal level. They get to have conversation with me and the election team. We are going to start hosting one of our goals this next year, even though it's going to be kind of a tight, it's going to be a tight year, but we're going to start hosting events to recruit judges. So it also, we're going to and that is something to come, and we will definitely communicate that to you. Right now, we are working with the Strayer Center to get paid internship for members to come in from the Strayer Center that would be interested in working on this side of in elections to see what that process looks like. So we will be hosting events like that.
Thank you. Perhaps you could give a little bit of consideration to whether or not the commissioners could appropriately offer some kind of expression of gratitude.
Yes.
Just have a couple of other questions, if I may. One is sort of a general overarching question, and that is, what are a couple of lessons learned from this last election, given that it was a greater turnout than we initially anticipated, but any 1 or 2 overarching lessons learned that could help inform how we do things moving forward?
Sure. There were several lessons learned, and one of the things that we are doing this week, Thursday, we will be meeting to review those lessons learned in the counting facility. There were a few bottlenecks when it came to the ballot removal process. And so we're going to look for ways to streamline that process. Also, the reporting, we're going to start looking at one of the things that we were a little bit late in reporting our first unofficial results, only because we had a last minute voter in one of our VSPCs. And so we just don't report before that voter leaves the VSPC. And so it just doesn't make it. we just don't do that. And so one of the things, we were a little bit behind the eight ball in that, so that was a lesson learned. So now we have measures in place so that we can have our reports ready to go, processes stopped to run those reports, and we're not waiting till the last minute.
May I do a couple more? Thanks. Thank you. It's always good to learn our lessons.
Yes.
Just a couple more questions. One is, I'm curious regarding the ballot boxes and how some of them are located in rather remote areas. For example, Red Feather Lakes, which I'm sure is a tremendous convenience to our citizens. How does it work? What are the logistics about knowing when the box is full and who drives up there to pick it up? How does that work?
Well,
and security measures and all that?
Sure. Every one of those boxes are under camera.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the security part of it. We do have ballot transfer teams that run on a regular basis. And so as we approach elections, they either need to be checked so we have statutory deadlines. So leading up to the election, we check them about every 72 hours. But on the day before, I believe it's the Friday before, the Saturday, we start checking, even Sunday, every 24 hours, those ballot boxes have to be checked.
Great, thank you. Then my last question, which I might be combining two into one so that I only have one left, and that is, I think we received some input regarding ballots that are in Spanish, for example, and I think we brought that to your attention.
Yes.
I'm wondering if you're giving, I think statutorily, based on the percentage of folks who might be Spanish speaking, or we don't necessarily have to do that. I wonder if you folks are considering that more. And then related to that, I seem to recall that, Tina, you may have mentioned there would be some opportunity for public input on how, maybe from the public's perspective, lessons learned, leading up to February or something like that.
Yes.
Could you speak to those two issues, please?
Absolutely.
And then I'll be done.
Okay. So one of the things I anticipate that we are going to be going to bilingual ballots. We will be hearing from the state, the Secretary of State's office, January 5th. That's the deadline, because based on our latest census data, it could be something that is mandatory for Larimer County. And so we will be working towards that. So we are waiting to hear from the Secretary of State's office in that regard. Yes. As far as public, so when we start our election, so February 29th is the deadline. I think it's available starting February 29th. We will be opening up for public comment on all of the elections. So anybody who has a question or a concern and they want that, please use that avenue. Every single one of them will be reviewed. We will take a look at that, and based on the comments that we receive, we will look at how we can either mitigate or overcome that.
Wonderful. Thank you kindly, Madam Clerk and Recorder. And I think you've demonstrated that in Larimer County we can continue to run elections with the utmost integrity and transparency and assurances to the public that we're doing our job as best as we can.
It's my highest priority.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I want to add accessible to that. I mean, I want to just thank you first personally. I had a lot of questions during this process, and you picked up the phone every time and answered and just got me some information. And I just want to thank you for continuing to be the most professional and really well done on this election. And I know the voter turnout was higher than anticipated, but I know you celebrate that. So,
yes.
And I appreciate you bringing up the public comment time. Is that listed on the website? How can we help promote that in case people do want to have input? Because I think that's important.
I don't believe it's on the website at this time, but it will be coming, and I can let you know as soon as it is available.
Great, because I would like to make sure people know there's another opportunity to give public input. I think that's really important. So thank you for that. And I was going to ask you that question, so then you brought it up, so then I didn't. That was one of my questions. Another question, or actually a story I heard, and I guess maybe people don't know about this about you, but I really wanted to thank you for your response. But you actually go out like on election day or the election weeks, and you actually drive to every location almost to check on it personally.
Yes.
And I found that really remarkable. I'm sure Angela did that too, but I didn't realize that's something you did. And someone told me that because there was some, everyone knows Lowry Student Center. It gets a little confusing. I still get lost in there sometimes. Who doesn't, right? There's all these students. But I guess that you realized maybe some things were hard to navigate. So you went and personally got some extra signs put up. So I don't know if you want to share about that. I found that remarkable. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of thank you and credit for making sure students knew where to go. So.
Absolutely. So one of my goals, as soon as the VSPC opens, is I go out there to see the site, to see if there's anything missing, because it's really important that everybody knows where they're supposed to go to vote. And so CSU was one of those facilities that it was on the third floor. And it just gave the room number. And I'm like, well, how do I get to that room? I had a difficult time. So at that point, I found the room. I was able to locate it, but then we were making signs right away to little directive. We can't put things on the floor, but they did allow us to put things on the wall. We had sandwich boards brought out there and put up so that it was very evident as to where to go. The other thing I do on election day as well, I will drive to all the sites and I visit all the drop boxes. One of the reasons I do that is just to make sure that, first of all, the folks in the VSPC are up and running. Everything is going well. There's not signs blown over. There's not, people really know where to go and vote. And then the drop boxes, I just make sure that no one's sticking stickers on there. We don't have a crowd gathering, those types of things. So.
Well, thank you for that. Maybe that's just what everyone did. I didn't realize the dedication to making sure all those sites are accessible and available for everyone. Thank you for that work, and thanks for helping students find that room at CSU. I had some students comment on that, and I just want to say thank you for that, because I appreciate that extra step that you did to help them with the sandwich boards and everything. So we have financially given you the two machines.
Yes.
That's my last question. And to move and to kind of have more, even, it was always secure locations, but even more security and making sure that there's, like Commissioner Cavallo said, we're always looking to even do a better job, and I appreciate your commitment to continuous improvement and learning and trying to even do even better, even though we are doing a great job. I think we have fantastic elections here, and I appreciate making sure that last voter who showed up last minute got to vote and he held everything. That I didn't know that, so that's really interesting to find out. How is that going? And having the two machines, did that help with that extra volume? And just curious about. Because those are interesting, but they're a little expensive machines. But it sounds like they're really worth it.
Absolutely, because they can run simultaneously, right? So we can have one receiving the ballots, getting them ready, the ballots ready or the envelopes ready for signature verification. And then we can, once those are verified, we can send it through the audit pass. So we were able to go through about 36,000 ballots on election day.
Wow.
Which our cutoff has always been 20,000. So we were able to increase that throughput. We still need to fine tune a few things. Especially when the ballot removal, but the tabulation process goes very, very smoothly. So it goes from receiving to signature verification to the audit to ballot removal to tabulation. So it went really well. I was very pleased to see that we were able to get through that many ballots on election day.
Well, and I said that was my last question, but that sparks one more for me. And I know people were like, why are we asking all these questions? Because this is really important.
Absolutely.
This is our democracy. When you say 35, and before it was 20, so it's almost doubled. What do you anticipate? And this was an off election, so what do we anticipate where the volume will need to be next year for the presidential, the general?
We anticipate receiving about 95 to 96,000 ballots just on election day.
Wow.
So that having that additional equipment, a larger space, is really going to help us get those ballots processed very efficiently and timely. We were able to finish up the day after election. So we were able to finish up on Wednesday this year. So that was definitely improvement because it's usually the Friday after. So we anticipate that even though we're going to see the biggest volume on election day receiving those ballots, we anticipate with the way we're going to the collaboration between the board and us, we will be able to move the throughput, those ballots through quickly.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that update. I'm always curious, we make decisions and sometimes we don't get to see kind of the fruition, but it sounds like this was definitely an important investment. So appreciate it. And I appreciate all the information today and you coming today and being our guest and sharing. Lorenda, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I want to thank Tina. She's a wonderful partner. When we need space in this building, we talk frequently about how we make that work for her staff. Talking about the food, it smells wonderful on election day down this hall.
Yes.
You really do treat your staff well, and we hear that frequently. And I appreciate the collaboration and using county facilities and how we work together.
Thank you.
Well said. So thank you. Anything else, closing comments? Otherwise, we just appreciate the update today.
No, I just appreciate your continued support of the clerk's office. And with that, have a wonderful holiday.
Happy holidays. Thank you, Tina. Mm-hmm. Okay. Exciting news to have a very large turnout. That's really exciting. We'll move on to our discussion items, which is something I'm super excited to do. We are celebrating and recognizing our 2023 Ranger Brendan Unitt Community Service Award recipient, the outstanding and renowned Lori Hodges, well respected across not only our region, our state, and the country. Lori Hodges is our the director of our Office of Emergency Management, and I'm going to invite Caitlin to come forward. And Caitlin, you'll introduce yourself to talk about the importance of this award and share about our new awardee and who we're here to honor today.
Thank you for your time today, Commissioners. I'm Caitlin Lovett. I am part of the Guiding Principles Committee. And as you stated, we're here to recognize Lori Hodges for the 2023 Ranger Brendan Unitt Community Service Award. For those listening, the Ranger Brendan Unitt Award is Larimer County's annual public service award that honors the commitment to the community that was embodied by the service of Ranger Brendan Unitt, who sadly passed away in the line of duty in 2020. Each year, the committee accepts nominations for the award, and in November selects and celebrates the award winner. Award winners must demonstrate exceptional service and devotion to the larger Larimer County community with a focus on volunteerism. The first annual award was presented to Bill Wilson of the Natural Resources Department in 2021, and then in 2022 it was presented to Carolina and Tomas Quinones. This year, again, Lori Hodges, our wonderful Director of Emergency Management, is our award recipient. So Lori Hodges, she works in the Office of Emergency Management as the director and assists the community and emergency organizations through the emergencies like Cameron Peak Fire or COVID-19 pandemic. And she has done an exemplary job each and every time. And to highlight the impact of her work in the community, I'm going to read some excerpts from her nomination letter that was submitted by Cole Parrott. Lori's commitment to the Larimer County community is truly unparalleled. As the Director of Emergency Management, she works tirelessly to ensure the safety and well-being of our residents, responding swiftly and effectively during emergencies and disasters. Her leadership and expertise have been instrumental in developing and implementing a comprehensive emergency management program and equipping our county to handle even the most challenging situations. However, Lori's contributions extend far beyond her professional role. She goes above and beyond by volunteering with the Matthews House in Fort Collins, where she provides a safe haven for teens and young adults in need. By opening her home to those who are striving to rebuild their lives, Lori offers them not only a roof over their heads, but also a nurturing environment that fosters personal growth and self-sufficiency. Her generosity and empathy shine through in her interactions with these young individuals, providing them with a support system when they need it most. Lori's dedication to community service inspires everyone around her. Her colleagues at Larimer County have witnessed firsthand her tireless efforts to create a more resilient and inclusive community. She leads by example, always encouraging her team members to go above and beyond their call of duty to make a positive impact. It is a pleasure to celebrate Lori Hodges, both at this appointed time during admin matters and later this evening at 4 p.m. at the Ranger Brendan Unitt Community Service Award celebration, which will be held here in the hearing room.
Thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate you reading that off. And thank you for your service on the Guiding Principal Champions team. We really appreciate all of the staff that are on that really unique and special group and the above and beyond service you give. I guess we'll need, Lorinda would go ahead and invite Lori up to kind of say a few words, and then she's going to have to stay there for a few minutes while we say some words to her. We'll be saying again this afternoon, but welcome, Lori Hodges. I can't thank you enough how proud I am to say you work for Larimer County, and I joke around about chaining you to your desk, but it's true. We were so fortunate to have you here, and I just let you say a few words. Thank you.
Just thank you for the award. That's all I have to say. I appreciate it.
Well, unfortunately, you have to stand there for a few minutes while we start with Commissioner Stevens and let her say a few words. Thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Lori. And, if you just did your job, that would be amazing, because the work that you do for emergency management in our community is profound, and it's changing. It's changing community dynamics. I mean, you're creating community where there wasn't any. You're creating systems where there weren't any systems, and I think people feel empowered by the work you do just in your day job. So that in itself is remarkable. But to know that you have done work beyond that is not necessarily surprising, knowing your character, but it is even more remarkable because you're helping really vulnerable young people, and that is such a gift that you're giving them of housing and companionship and guidance, because it's tricky being a young person, and it's even trickier and more difficult when you don't have a support system behind you. And so knowing that you do this is, like I said, it's not surprising that a person who gives more in their free time. And so I'm proud to know you as a person. I think you're a wonderful human being. You exemplify in both your work and your off work time a person who is it's just a pleasure to know you. And and I think I just can't say enough good things about you. You are a remarkable person. Your giving spirit and your humility around it is amazing. I don't think anybody knew you were doing this work, and
They weren't supposed to know.
right. And that's the thing. I always
Cole's
say
in trouble.
I always say I've said before that a person who's a servant leader doesn't ever call themselves a servant leader, right? I mean, because that goes against the humility around being someone who serves. And so you do this quietly and professionally every single day, and so we're happy to acknowledge you. And I know it's not in your nature to be to be excited about being acknowledged, but nevertheless, here we are, and congratulations and thank you for your work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Kofales.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, OEM, Office of Emergency Management Director Lori Hodges. I think you're one of the more interesting emergency management directors that I've ever had the privilege to know and to work with on. And just to build on what Commissioner Stevens said, certainly in your job responsibilities, you go above and beyond. Making sure that we're all working together when there are disaster emergencies, and certainly helping with recovery periods, all the work that needs to come afterwards, because that's ongoing. You have demonstrated, you're involved in national advisory groups. You're helping to inform federal legislation. You help to make sure that our friends in the state legislature, when they're proposing um, policies or laws that have implications for forest health, um, uh, forest management, all of those things, that you're making sure that there are minimal unintended consequences, and that they're helping us to pay for things. So you work in the policy arena, you work in the on the ground, and the way you conduct the various tabletop exercises. It's a real great learning experience for us elected folks, the commissioners, the county manager. Those are exemplary. And I wanted to also, I didn't know until you were nominated for this award that you do all this great work with foster kids and the Matthews House. So it's just another example in your other life. And I guess I wanted to share one last example, and you can correct me if I get the dates wrong, but I think it was in December of 2021 when there was a situation with migrant individuals. I don't know if that was the right year. I think it was.
It was last year,
Was it 2022? Thank you, Lori. And to me, that was an incredible example of how you we're able to put the pieces together that we could properly accommodate folks who had tremendous needs, coming from Denver to Larimer County to be housed, to receive the support, and all of that. And to me, that's an example. And it goes so far, if I'm remembering correctly, as I think on Christmas Eve, you actually got, I presume, a county van, checked it out properly, and
Yeah.
drove some folks to to Christmas Eve service. So that's pretty darn extraordinary. And finally, I appreciate very much your adaptability. That's one of our guiding principles, and that you've attempted to slow down your delivery so that I can keep up with you and understand all the important things that you're sharing. So I'm grateful for that, and I knew we'll do even better in 2024.
I'll try.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was going to bring that up too, that, lots of things you like to do behind the scenes, like be an author. You're also working on your PhD, which people may not know about.
They don't know.
And I've sometimes I stalk staff on LinkedIn because I like to learn all these things. I didn't know that you just recently joined the board of the Larimer County Homeless Teens, or what, LCH, or you're on some other groups or something. But I know helping out, especially our youth in need, is just critical, and especially to open your home and just to provide, as Commissioner Stevens has stated too, I wanted to say as well, just a stable place to be that felt safe and feel like someone cares is immeasurable and invaluable, and just amazing the things that does for folks. And to know that you do that and try to do it under the radar, which don't be bad at your staff because they're amazing. You have built an amazing.
Too late.
You have built an amazing team, which
We do have a good team here.
and that is under your leadership. And you are instilling not only the love of chaos, which you have instilled in me a little bit, or embracing disruption. Thank you for making me more comfortable with disruption. But you have also instilled with them kind of these guiding, you live these guiding principles, and you're instilling those in folks, and doing it in a way that they may not even realize that they're looking to ways to give back. And that's very apparent. Ricardo being at Estes Park community celebrations and the tables out in the community where people are embracing people and feeling welcomed. And I hear all the time at all these festivals all year round that Office Emergency Management table, I had the best time. I'm going to bring back my friends, and so they can learn these things, understand these things. You have built a team that's engaging. That's just a reflection of you as a leader and a person, and just amazing. And I think there's a lot of other things we probably don't know that you do, but I think we're very lucky to have you just as a plain old staff member who does above and beyond, but then to have your leadership in our Office of Emergency Management. I joke around about changing your desk. I mean, I'm not really going to change it, but we are so fortunate to have you here in Larimer County. I know it's because we have natural disasters. You said that this last week at the conference. You're here because we have natural disasters, and you like that. And so, but we are very fortunate because it is not if, but when here, and I'm born and raised in this area. So I'm grateful to know someone of your professionalism and integrity and dedication is here being a great steward and keeping watch and helping us prepare. Like I said, you've made me more comfortable embracing disruption.
That's good.
See? And then last week, I wanted to share with my colleagues when we had presented at the Colorado Counties Incorporated, you have pushed trying to help policy locally, even with our own regional exercises, but statewide as you're keeping CCI and pushing for us to keep opening that conversation to help others in other counties, and nationally with being on the National Advisory Board for FEMA. And you were very supportive of me as I went to present at the National Association of Counties on that with the Deputy Director of FEMA. That was a little intimidating. But I really appreciate at that conference last week, they had some counties who you also helped shine their good work, but also all of them were like, we don't even know these things. How can you help us? And you said, go on the website. Here's our policy. Just copy it. You're more about helping people and making sure people are doing great things to prepare their counties to take care of their residents. And so your work is not only here in Larimer County, but spreading throughout. And you were so willing to help anyone in that meeting. And obviously, colleagues, it was Hinsdale County, Elbert, many counties who said, Lori Hodges showed up and helped us. Without this, Lori, we would not have been we were in better shape because Lori Hodges helped out and showed up.
I'm always willing to go to a disaster.
I know. That's why I said you helped me. So it was again and again and again, county after county, administrator after administrator, singing your praises and how you just are there for others. And it's not surprising to see that you are there for others in need in our community, especially our most vulnerable with our youth. And I know you're probably excited about that shelter coming up. And I just, the Matthews House is a phenomenal organization. I'm so proud that you're helping. And it's just the least we can do to honor you with this way with such an important award. But thank you for teaching me. Thank you for making me more comfortable with things, and thanks for helping us feel a little more confident. I'm sure, it's how can you ever prepare, but helping us with exercises and making us more comfortable, but connecting us as well and empowering us as leaders and commissioners. I have valued that tremendously, and thank you for bringing on such a great team that supports us as with the wildfire and the forest health and the things that we're trying to do there, and the things I'm doing at the forest health level for the state. Is great to have that backup and those partnerships, and that just reflects in everything you do. So now we're just shining another area that you're just doing above and beyond, which is helping these youth. And I could go through all the awards and how many times have you won Emergency Manager of the Year? 3, 4? I don't know. It's outstanding. And I just want to let everybody know we are so fortunate to have such an outstanding individual. Just as Kristen said, just having you just do your job normally is tremendous and outstanding and just amazing. But knowing that you do this in addition is pretty cool. So thank you, and we'll stop making you embarrassed. I'm going to let Lorenda have her turn now too. But thank you, Lori, and appreciate you're making a difference in not only in emergencies and recovery, but in the lives of these individuals, which will ripple on for generations to come. And I hope you know what impact you're making in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'll add to the uncomfortableness, Lori. This award was created because Ranger Unitt was very generous with his time and talents, both at work and in his personal life. And so you are the perfect recipient for the third award. You do both. You balance what you do for the community every day, and then you go home and you do it some more. And so it is really an honor to get to recognize you. And this, I know it makes you very uncomfortable, which is why you deserve it all the more.
All right,
Thank you very much for everything.
Thanks.
Okay, so I think unless you all have, we're going to get to do this again. So thank you, Lori. Yeah, run back to your seat. And congratulations. I don't know if I said that, but congratulations. Well deserved. And thank you, team, for the work that you do. This is pretty amazing. So with that, I think that's all we have for discussion items. And thank you. I want to just give a recognition to our county treasurer and public trustee, Irene Josie, who came to honor Lori as well. And the Sheriff John Pham was here, but he got called out for an emergency. So I wanted to just recognize that the sheriff, the treasurer and public trustee, and Tina Harris, our clerk and recorder, all were here because they feel the same way that we do. And I'm sure just by having 6 electeds, at least in this room, that also signals how we all hold you in high regard, Lori. So thank you all for being here. I wanted to recognize that you were in the audience. So we'll now move on, and Lori, we'll see you at 4 o'clock. Anybody listening in, come on down for 4 o'clock to join the festivities. We'll make Lori even more uncomfortable. No, it's all joking, but this is well-deserved, more than well-deserved honors. Okay, we'll move on to our county manager update.
Sure, I'll keep it short after that. I will let you know that as part of the process, whenever residents want to protest their tax value, they begin with the assessor, then they can appeal to the Board of Equalization, which involves the clerk's office scheduling, your office approving at admin matters meetings, and then ultimately arbitration, which involves the county attorney's office, the assessor's office, and the Board of County Commissioners' office. And so one of the things we came to know this year with the great volume of protests is that we can work on this process and make improvements. And so I want to say thank you to the assessor's office staff, to the clerk and recorder's office staff, and to certainly our staff in our office. Brenda Jemison and Lori Cadrich are both working hard with their counterparts in the other offices to improve this process so that it's less bumpy. We've gotten quite a bit of feedback that administratively, it's just difficult to get through and it's confusing. And so I hope the public hears we heard that, and we're working on improvements so that when the next round comes around, we hope they'll see a sleeker process and a little bit easier to navigate. And we're always interested in knowing how to do better. So I think that is my one big update. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorinda. Colleagues, any questions for Lorinda? Okay, we'll go on to our commissioner activity reports. We'll start with Commissioner Kafalis.
Thank you. I'll keep mine short as well. I think last week, at least for 3 days, my fellow commissioners were at the Colorado Counties Inc. Foundation Winter Conference, so that allowed me to stay focused on trying to catch up on things. But on Friday, I did present to a class, a social work class at CSU, a graduate class, which I actually used to teach back in the day. But we focused on Larimer County, and we reviewed the organizational chart so the students could have a better idea of the importance of the county and the services we provide, certainly in the human services space. I also shared which is something that people should know about if they're not aware, the Larimer County Community Health Wellbeing and Resilience Data Dashboard, which is a tremendous tool for information and also for research. And the students really appreciated all of that. It was done virtually, which was a little bit of a disappointment because I wanted to be there in person. But one of the takeaways is that they were very interested in the mental health, behavioral health issues. And one of the students who I think must intern at one of the schools talked about how they frequently conduct what are referred to as SRAs. And I would be remiss if I didn't explain that acronym, but that's suicide risk assessments. And I brought that to the attention of our public health director, who I met with on Monday morning, which I believe was yesterday, and to see if we're incorporating that kind of information into our behavioral health data. And he's going to follow up. He thought that was important, and I think we'll discuss it when we meet with our school district folks. But that was basically it. Other than that, I just, kept my nose to the grindstone and got caught up on things, which is a nice holiday feeling. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, so Commissioner Gonzalez, I did not attend the conference because I got very sick last week and was not able to even speak for a few days. So, but I appreciate Commissioner Shattuck McNally for representing the county at that conference. Just a few things I wanted to mention from last week. First of all, we did have some holiday parties for both. Believe we all attended the holiday party for both Larimer County staff and then for Sheriff's Department staff. And I mean, it's just a really great opportunity for us to thank all the people who work for the county. We do this once a year, and it's probably not enough to thank folks once a year, but certainly really thankful because all the great work that we're able to accomplish and that everyone is able to accomplish in their various departments. We couldn't do that without great staff that's really committed, that's committed to the guiding principles, that works, ethically and innovatively every single day and takes care of people across the community, whether it's child protection or the sheriff's office. People doing extremely difficult work day in and day out to make sure that the county serves the people of Larimer County. And so just really an honor to serve alongside these folks, and we thank them for helping us do our work better, honestly. I mean, I always say, you make us look good, and so I'm constantly aware of the fact that that it's one thing to sit up here and enact regulations, and it's another thing to see that work being done in the community and how much people in Larimer County really care about other folks. So I'm very grateful. Just a couple other things. I actually got to hang out with some Boy Scouts on Thursday night when I was feeling better, and just had what's remarkable with being with young people is the intellectual curiosity is there, and also just the sort of joy of finding out new things. And so they had a lot of great questions, really thoughtful questions that I didn't ponder when I was a young child around homelessness and affordable housing and how things work at the county. And so I will just always say spending time with young people makes me feel like we're in good hands, and that's great. But we are developing young leaders in so many great organizations across the county, and just really grateful to have that experience. And then finally, just on Friday, we had our Regional Air Quality Commission meeting, and I know regional air quality is really important to people in our community because we are in a non-attainment zone, and so we have very high levels of low-level ozone. And so one of the things that the RAC did at this meeting was to send two strategies forward to the Air Quality Commission, and those are strategies with regards to oil and gas operations. So one is venting and blowdown strategies, which would put more regulations on blowdowns. And a lot of this gets kind of into the weeds of what oil and gas extraction looks like. But in a blowdown situation right now, many operators just release natural gas, and those emissions go into our air. And so the regulations on venting and blowdowns will require them to capture those emissions and be able to use those on site, specifically during our high ozone times, which are May 1st to September 1st kind of things. And then we also put forward to the Air Quality Commission some regulations on pneumatic controllers. So pneumatic controllers operate valves used in the oil and gas industry. They also emit natural gas. And so those would have to be phased out and use something that doesn't emit gas to do those same processes. There's a few operators that have adopted some of this, but not many. It looks like the EPA may be also looking into the pneumatic controllers as they look to control emissions nationwide. So we will see if what we've proposed is in line with the EPA regulations, but we wanted to move forward. These regulations would likely not be in effect till at least 2025, and there will be, some conversation about this. So if people want to weigh in on either side, they're welcome to do that, and we can get information to people if anyone's interested. But just suffice it to say that at the state level, we are looking for ways to clean up our air and reduce those ozone emissions that we have that are dangerously high levels, especially in the western part of the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. I was very proud and pleased to attend the Colorado Counties Incorporated Foundation Winter Conference. It was in Denver in Jefferson County, and it was really insightful and a lot of great conversations had. Really proud to help moderate the emergency management session with Lori Hodges and also Elbert County. Shane Pines from Elbert County is Lori's counterpart there. But it was just amazing, all of the counties that came up and shared the work that she's done to help them during their moment of crisis and need. And I think that just speaks volumes to kind of what we do here in Larimer County, where we're always open to helping anyone in our counterparts throughout the county. And that's well received. I think I hear that tremendously during the conference. And I reiterated that, but hey, we learn from you. Come, we're open to, if you want to come learn from us. And I think that's really the spirit of the Larimer way, just building collaborations and partnerships. Because when we're all doing better, we all raise each other up and we all do better together. It was a very busy conference. We were doing a lot of sessions, but also talking in between. We have some new elected leadership at the board. I want to congratulate my colleagues. Very excited to see some of those changes and progressions. And we recognized first when we had some of our front range meetings and things, the Attorney General, Phil Weiser, and the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, and many others came and circled through, including our Health Director, Tom Gonzalez, came through with the state organization to talk about some legislation. But I wanted to share with my colleagues, Attorney General Phil Weiser gave us a shout out as a county, and some of the work that I'm doing with regional opioid abatement. He gave us some counties were asking about specialty courts, and he basically pointed to Larimer County Larimer County's doing a phenomenal job. They have all these specialty courts. They are the exemplar regionally, nationally, and so that was a big shout out. They shout out for our behavioral health and our center and the work that we're doing with our behavioral health services and the work that we did as a community. We also got shout out for our regional opioid abatement work and so on. And so it was just it was nice that he gave out shout out. I wanted to share that because that's so many people to thank and so many people that work together on that. And so I want to tell you all, you should take some pride in that shout out because that involves your work. And I want to thank you for working alongside you. We also, I'm going to make Lorenda uncomfortable. I nominated Lorenda for Administrator of the Year, and she won from the Association of Colorado County Administrators, ACCA, won the Rising Star Award, and then the other county manager, she is retiring, and she won the other award. And so I just want to congratulate Lorenda, well-deserved recognition, and appreciate we had a kind of, you weren't planning to come down to the conference because you're working on the budget and all the emergency room and emergency changes with the special session, not emergency room. But thank you for me twisting your arm like, hey, you got to come down and knowing what was going on. And thanks to your family for supporting you coming down. That was very well-deserved recognition. It's a packed room, lots and lots of people. And just wanted to congratulate you on being recognized by an organization of your peers, and well-deserved recognition as well. So congratulations. And then my friend, Commissioner from Summit County, Commissioner Pogue, and I nominated our friend Dan Williams from Teller County as Commissioner of the Year. And I want to congratulate him as well because he's done a lot to work across the aisle and build consensus and travels a lot of hours back and forth during the week to be at meetings to try to meet with people in person. And a really outstanding gentleman. I want to congratulate him as well. It was really kind of fun to see these folks get recognized. So I was really excited. Also, with the changes and some of the budget meetings, after some bumpy meetings this past year, the county CCI has passed a new code of conduct. I don't think there was one before, and so that is basically a bottom line colleagues for that code of conduct, and it's going to expand and grow more, but that is something that I welcome and thankful for. It was a little bit of a contentious conversation, but that evolved. And then everyone was trying to figure out who's going to be on this new taxing commission and who's going to represent counties. We're very fortunate. We got 5 appointees, 5 county commissioners. And so there was a lot of discussions about who we're all going to get behind beyond that. It's a really important discussion. It's going to take a lot of time out of their schedule because they're going to meet a lot in the next month or two. And there's a lot expected to be accomplished by then. So it was a really powerful and amazing conference, and I'm really grateful to be able to go and represent Larimer County. We had a lot of great conversations. Then I came back and tried to jump on the Big Thompson Watershed Health Partnership. We're still planning for 2024, but I ended up being on a call with Congressman Neguse. He was sharing with lots of different counties. We had all just been on at the county conference together, and then in person, and then we all ended up being on virtual with Congressman Neguse and kind of shared some things around our counties. And I just appreciate him asking and staying close and asking questions and keeping a pulse on what's happening in our county. I want to thank, again, Commissioner Stevens, you're right, it was so much fun. I really love our new tradition of having the breakfast. I want to thank Lori Kadrich and Lorinda Volker and Brenda Jemison and Sarah Martin and Melissa Farr and anyone else who had you guys worked tirelessly. It looks so easy just to show up for breakfast, but I know you guys put a lot of effort into that. And I want to thank you for a job well done. I love it. I love meeting and talking and sitting, having breakfast and seeing some folks I may not get to see but once or twice a year, and to do it in a way where we can kind of celebrate and be together. I was talking with Arunda. I think we almost had 1,000 people. I was looking at the photos and cycling. That's a lot when you think we almost have half the staff coming at the ranch. And thank you to the ranch staff for accommodating. The room was beautiful. It was just real. It was highlight of my years to go to this and just to be able to thank everyone face to face. I appreciate it. And thank you to the sheriff for the annual Hudson annual luncheon. And we had other electeds from other municipalities there. It was great to connect with them. And they had other leaders. And it was in the new building, which was wider, and job well done. And thank you so much for inviting us. We really enjoy hanging out with you, and we appreciate the time together. And then I had my Forest Health Council meeting. I chaired the Legislative Committee, and just to let you know, we're already planning for 2025. We already have our priorities into the Wildfire Interim Committee, and we'll be working on that, but we're planning for 2025 already. And so that was a lot of work to have all these speakers. And we had who did we have? We've had the Gates Family Foundation. We had some conversations. The Fire Commission. I'm on the subcommittee for the Fire Commission between the Forest Health Council and the Fire Commission, and we're talking about prescription fire mitigation work, and that's really kind of a complex subject. And so that subcommittee is going to be meeting again. I just wanted to let you know those talks are pretty complex and complicated, but they're going forward. And so I continue to show up and kind of represent the state, but also kind of keep our county in mind because it's really important work. And then CCI on Friday had a working group for the land use, and we met with the governor's office, several of his staff members, to talk about the white papers and the survey results that came out. And so I just wanted to share that with you as well. That was a really productive and positive conversation, and I'm grateful for that work and to be a part of that. I attended, and I know there's a lot going on, but I've been pretty busy. The Thompson Valley Emergency Medical Services, I attended their 40th anniversary party on Saturday. And it was amazing and really remarkable. I was very glad to be invited and sat with the fire chief and the police chief and others. They recognized us. Larimer County got a shout out. We got some pictures up. They appreciate us recognizing that first on scene class I took with them. They're really big on providing public education opportunities, but they were very they gave a lot of gratitude for our partnership with them. If you remember, Cole Sheik was the paramedic or the Thompson Valley Services gentleman who was involved in a motor vehicle accident. He's been in the news a lot as his way traveling over on December 27th over to see his family in Maine Coast near Durango, and he was involved with a head-on collision. And the winds were bad. They couldn't fly him out. So him and his now fiance were driven out by Park County paramedics and EMS personnel that drove over an hour and kept them all alive. It was a pretty severe accident. The pictures are pretty stunning to see that they survived that much horrific of a crash. Cole is back at work, has lost his leg. It was a valiant fight to help him keep his leg. He lost his leg. He had some pretty severe traumatic brain injuries, but he's back at work, and there was a special ceremony where he was named, they created a new award. I'm sharing this because it's really heartwarming, called the Cold Sleep Grit Award, and he received the first one, but they also brought on from Park County, those emergency services personnel who came and drove the ambulance and saved his life, and he was able to give them commendations and give them awards, and it was just really amazing to see him able to thank the people that saved his life. And I wanted to share that with you because that it made me cry. It's such a heartwarming moment, and just really well done job by Thompson Valley Emergency Services and Chief Robinson, and I know we're really grateful for their partnership and the work they do in the county. So I wanted to share that with you because if you haven't seen or heard about that story, it was pretty heartwarming. That's all I have. Lots going on today. For us, we're meeting with our, behavioral health, one last thing. We had our behavioral health joint meeting yesterday. Colleagues, I brought you the flyers that was handed out. We have our once a year meeting with our Behavioral Health Policy Council, our Technical Advisory Council, and our Consumer Advisory Council. And we met at the Behavioral Health, the Longview Acute Care Center. It was well attended. Staff, thank you for providing the breakfast and getting that all organized. And we took a very abbreviated tour, but we got to see parts of the building. And I wanted to share some numbers with you all that the first 2 days of our partnership in our building being open, and Summit Stone Health Partners providing those services at our Longview Behavioral Health Services Acute Care Center, we saw 18 individuals, and 11 of those folks were admitted. And so there's just some great numbers. And I wanted to say it's working so far. And so knock on wood, continues to go forward. But I wanted to share those numbers with you as well. And we had some updates about that. And I guess the food, everyone's rating how good the food is. So I guess the kitchen is working too. So anyway, thank you all. And I appreciate being able to have a chance to share that with you. So we'll move on now to our executive session. And I will ask Commissioner Kafalis to make that motion to move us into executive session. Thank you.
Yes, I move to the Board of Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice about the status of the Centera South Urban Renewal Plan and related tax increment sharing agreement between Larimer County and the Loveland Urban Renewal Authority. And I believe we're not going to make a decision, right?
I believe so. We're not making a decision, so we won't be returning back on air for those watching online. We won't be returning back on air, so we bid you good day and thank you for joining us today.
We have to vote.
Yeah, so I'm going to I just wanted to just say that before I forgot. So all those in favor of moving executive session, aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session again. Thank you for joining us and have a great week.